Good evening, fourth grade parents. Thank you for joining in to learn a little bit more about literacy and ELA for fourth grade. So, if you will follow along with this slideshow, that will be great. We're going to give you some information about what kinds of things we are looking for and expecting the students to be doing every day when they're at school for reading. So one of the things that we have been teaching them is to code the text. And this would be for, you might hear them say the word annotate. This is where they are showing their thinking. There are codes. It doesn't matter if they use the right code or if they are using a code every time. Really what we're looking for is just them writing what they're thinking about what they're reading. Because if they are writing down their thoughts, that shows that they are focused in what they're reading and they are trying to focus on the reading and what it's talking about. I am really good about reading things, but also maybe thinking about what I might need to cook for dinner that night. So it's kind of like a multitasking exercise, if you will. So we tell the students that if they are writing down their thoughts as they're reading, that shows that they are thinking about what they're reading, and that is the goal. We want them to focus on their reading so that they will be more apt to understand what they're reading and comprehend what they're reading. So this just shows you some different codes, like a question mark. They might have a question while they are reading. More times than not, we have lots of questions. Maybe we're wondering about something, or why did this character do that? So this could just be that they have a question. They might point out some important details. They might point out something that they thought was funny or they thought was crazy. They might point out something that they like or maybe they did not like. They might point out some comparisons, so like some similarities or differences. So these are just some different examples. You might also see them using the depth and complexity icons, which I will show you in just a moment. This is another code that they could use to show their thinking. And so this is the depth and complexity. And these are just some visual icons to help the students understand different levels of what they're reading. So you will see that there's a picture of the lips, which is language of the discipline. You've got a flower for details, a patterns that almost looks like a Z. Then you have rules, trends that looks like a graph of some sort, unanswered questions. You have ethics, the big idea, over time, multiple perspectives, and across disciplines. So last year in third grade, they really focused on the details and the big idea, which are the flower and it looks like a house with columns icon. So you probably saw them do that a lot when they were reading last year, where they just drew the flower when they saw a detail, and they just drew what looks like a house with columns for the big idea. So in fourth grade, we're kind of getting them acclimated to all of them, and then they can start pointing those out when they are reading to help them better understand what they're reading and to be able to critically think about deeper text, because the older they get and the higher grade they get into, the goal is to still read, but they're just getting more challenging text, because at this point in fourth grade they can pretty much read to an extent. Maybe their fluency is not great, but they're going to have to think deeper with what they are reading. So these are the icons that you might hear them talk about, or you might hear the fourth grade teacher speak about. Okay, the benchmarks, we just finished our NC check-ins last week, and so this week we've had some makeup tests. So they just did the NC check-in 1. They will have 2 more before they have the EOG. So the main thing about these are just to make sure that the kids are getting a good night's sleep, that they get a good breakfast, and that they take their time and use the strategies that we're teaching them in class. What I noticed, or what we all noticed in them taking the benchmark, is that they are not using those strategies that we're teaching them in class, and maybe they're not taking the time to fully understand. So that is the main thing, is just telling them to take their time and use the strategies that they have. Okay, iStation is something that is new for fourth grade this year. They did do it in third grade and they have done it in previous years, kindergarten up to third grade. But this year, because of remote learning last year, they added it for fourth and fifth grade. So they do take iStation, the ISIP test, each month. So I know it seems like when they take one, it's time to take another one, but that's because they do it each month and it is tracking their growth. And what it shows is each month they are supposed to show growth. And so if they are not showing growth from where they left off the month before, then that's where you see that they may drop down a level. And as teachers, we are looking at that, and that's how we're making their guided reading groups. So if your child does drop from where they were last month, it's because they have not grown from where they left off in the assessment from the previous month. So I think that's some good information that we need to take away from iStation because I think that has been confusing in the past because one month they might have done really well and then the next month they drop. And that's because they are continuing from where they left off on the assessment. All right, missing work. This is very, very important that students are turning in their work. So not only do they have work during the 4 days that they are in school, but they also have remote work that they are doing on Wednesdays. And that also includes their Google Meets that they are supposed to attend. If students are not getting all of their work turned in, that is greatly affecting their grade. So for them to make sure that they are getting work completed that we're doing in class, maybe they don't finish it while we're doing it in class, that still means they need to finish it and get it turned in at a later time, not to just forget about it and then leave it and never turn it in. So please make sure that you are asking your child periodically, hey, have you turned in all of your assignments? Do you have everything turned in? Because zeros will definitely affect their overall grade. So Google Meets, we will be having Google Meets periodically throughout the school year on our remote days. Students need to make sure that they are joining these Google Meets because we are continuing what we are doing on Monday and Tuesday when they are here. So if they are missing those Google Meets, they are missing content that we are teaching, which means when they come back on Thursday, they may miss something that we did on Wednesday on the Google Meets. So then that is going to set them back a little from where they need to be. We do send out messages on Class Dojo for the Google Meets as a reminder, along with a code to log in. So just make sure that you are trying to help your child get on the Google Meets and to make sure that you know what times those are so that your child will not be behind when they come back to school. Also, with our Google Meets, this is how they are counted present on our remote days. So in other words, they don't really have to check in when they attend the Google Meet. That is how we count them present for the day. Our second quarter ELA focus for second quarter and then the second quarter benchmarks will be determining main idea and details, which we have done some of already, determining the meaning of words and phrases, so that's our vocabulary, finding evidence to prove their answers, and then text structure, which is what we are working on currently at the moment. So that is our second quarter ELA focus. And then at home, if you would just do some quick checks with what they have read, maybe looking to see if they've done some depth and complexity, showing their thinking, because it is an expectation that everything they are reading, they are showing their thinking, which is also annotating the text. They do need to be reading 20 minutes per day, and that's just to keep their reading skills going so that they don't fall back in fluency or their comprehension. So if you will just make sure at home you're doing some checks with them to make sure that they are using the strategies that we are teaching in class and using in class, that will be great. Thank you for joining in on our literacy night. We really appreciate the support that all of our parents have been giving for our students and us as teachers. If you have any questions, please feel free to message your teacher on Class Dojo or give us a call at school, or you can even email. Thank you. I hope you have a great night.